They say respect costs nothing. But in places like this, it seems it's reserved only for the ones wearing Rolexes and tailored suits. When Darius Miles walked into the Solara Grand Hotel wearing a soaked hoodie and worn sneakers, he wasn't expecting luxury treatment. He just wanted what he paid for. But the moment he stepped through those golden revolving doors, they looked at him like a stain on their marble floors. The woman at the front desk didn't even lift her eyes at first. When she finally did, her smile froze halfway. "Can I help you?" she asked, voice coated in that familiar brand of fake politeness. Darius nodded. "I have a reservation. Darius Miles, 7 nights." She blinked at the name, typed something into the computer, then squinted, confused. "Sir, our rates start at $2,000 a night. Are you sure that's correct?" He said nothing, just handed over his ID. She barely glanced at it before pressing a button beneath the desk. That's when the manager showed up, Travis. Tall, smug, and already ready to escalate. He took one look at Darius and made his judgment. "We've had issues in the past," Travis said. "Guests booking rooms they can't actually pay for." The implication hung thick in the air, like humidity after a storm. Darius raised an eyebrow. "Is that so?" Travis smiled without warmth. "We'd hate to make a scene. If you'd kindly leave, we'll refund you." That's when 2 security guards appeared out of nowhere, hands on hips, walkies ready. The lobby grew quiet. A couple paused mid-check-in. A waiter stopped pouring champagne. All eyes on Darius, just another black man being handled. But he didn't yell, didn't protest. He calmly reached into his backpack. The guards flinched. The receptionist stepped back. Travis looked ready to call the cops. Then Darius placed a solid black card on the counter. Not a credit card, not a loyalty card, but a master key card, engraved in gold with 5 words, Solara Global Access, owner level. Travis's jaw fell open. "I'm Darius Miles," he said, voice low but steady. "Founder of Milemark Equity Group. We acquired the Solara hotel chain 8 months ago." The room went silent. The guards backed off immediately. The color drained from the receptionist's face. Travis opened his mouth, closed it, then finally stammered, I didn't know." "That's the point," Darius said. "You shouldn't have to know someone's title to treat them like a human being." Travis started apologizing, tripping over his words. "It's just protocol, sir. Had I known—" Darius cut him off with a look. "You made your assumptions based on a hoodie and my skin tone. You didn't even check the system before calling backup. That tells me everything." Within minutes, the regional VP of Solara arrived in a frenzy, breathless and sweating. She took one look at Darius, then at Travis, and wasted no time. "You're terminated," she said flatly. Travis looked like he'd been hit with a taser. The security guards were placed under immediate review. The receptionist was pulled aside. The VP started offering complimentary upgrades, champagne, and apologies. But Darius wasn't interested in the optics. He'd already seen the rot. "I came here unannounced on purpose," he told the VP. "To see how your staff treats people they assume don't belong. I've got my answer." As he turned to head toward the elevators, guests parted like water. Some nodded at him with embarrassed smiles. Others looked away, ashamed. He didn't respond to any of them. The presidential suite was just as he expected, overpriced, overdecorated, and cold. But he wasn't here for luxury. From his suitcase, he pulled out a leather folder. Inside it was a sealed envelope marked Confidential, Internal Legal Review. He stared at it for a long moment before making the call. "Yeah," he said into the phone, "I was right. Pull the security footage from last month. I want to know how many other people they turned away." A long pause on the other end. Then Darius added, "And check if any of them filed complaints that were buried." Something tells me Travis wasn't acting alone. He hung up and looked out the massive window overlooking the city. Solara Grand had 83 locations worldwide. If this was how they treated guests at the flagship property, what were they hiding elsewhere? Justice had been served today, but only in part. The real fight was just beginning, because when you walk into a place that tells you you don't belong, then hand them the master key that unlocks every door, what you're really holding isn't just power. It's proof. Proof that their bias, their assumptions, their quiet prejudice just became your greatest weapon. And as for Travis, he thought he was gatekeeping a kingdom. But he didn't realize the man in the hoodie built the castle. And now, he's tearing down the walls. Back in the suite high above Manhattan, Darius stared at the flickering screen in front of him. The security footage had finally arrived, 72 hours of lobby recordings. At first it was the usual, guests laughing, bellboys pushing luggage, polished shoes clicking across marble floors. But then, the pattern emerged. The first was a young couple, black, early 20s, carrying backpacks and visibly exhausted from travel. They approached the front desk, smiling. The same receptionist from earlier glanced at them, then called Travis. Within 2 minutes, security arrived. The couple was escorted out. No argument, no refund. They never returned. Then came an older woman with silver locks and a cane. She waited patiently, reservation in hand. She was ignored for 6 full minutes. Finally, someone spoke to her, only to tell her there was a system error and nothing could be done. She left in tears. Darius's jaw clenched. It wasn't just him. There were dozens. He made a list, names, timestamps, faces. The deeper he dug, the uglier it got. Black guests were turned away, delayed, or accidentally overbooked. Latinx and South Asian visitors too. White guests welcomed instantly, offered drinks, smiles, perks. And it wasn't just that hotel. A call to his legal team confirmed something chilling. Complaints had been filed against multiple Solara properties. Same pattern, same dismissals. Some were settled quietly with NDAs, others were simply deleted, swept under the rug. He wasn't dealing with a rogue manager anymore. This was systemic. Darius stood up from his desk. His heart wasn't just pounding, it was boiling. These people were being degraded, dehumanized, and silenced, while the company raked in billions under the mask of elevated hospitality. But not anymore. The next morning, Darius walked into Solara's New York regional office with a folder under one arm and a camera crew trailing behind him. He didn't schedule a meeting. He didn't need one. By noon, the press release went viral. Solara Group under fire for systemic discrimination. CEO steps in with receipts. Social media exploded. Boycott Solara trended for hours. Civil rights attorneys called. Journalists reached out. Former employees began speaking up, anonymously, then openly. Hidden training manuals surfaced. Secret quotas for image control were leaked. Darius stood in front of the cameras the next day. "I built this company to create equity, but somewhere along the way, bias grew in the cracks. That ends now." He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't hide behind PR. He fired the entire East Coast Management Board. He launched an independent audit across all properties, and he personally contacted every person wrongfully turned away over the past year. Some cried, some shouted, others couldn't believe it. They were offered full refunds, lifetime vouchers, and public apologies. But not everyone was happy. Behind closed doors, a storm was brewing. Darius received a call from the Solara Board of Investors, and it wasn't supportive. "You've gone too far," one said. "Air the dirty laundry quietly," said another. "Public backlash hurts our margins." Darius paused, then said, "If your margins depend on racism, maybe you're in the wrong business." Click. He hung up. That night, he got an anonymous email. No name, no subject, just a single sentence. "Check what really happened to the Miles Baker audit in Atlanta." His blood ran cold. The Atlanta property had been the first Solara he ever acquired. It was personal. Family even helped with the deal. He remembered filing an internal audit there last year, something about employee treatment and missing reservation funds. He thought it had been resolved. Apparently, it hadn't. He opened the company archives, but the file was gone, deleted, no backup. And then a second email came in, a video file, password protected. He entered the access code tied to the master keycard. The screen went black for a second. Then a grainy surveillance clip started playing. There, on the screen, was his cousin Maya, a junior auditor at the time. She was arguing with a man in a Solara badge. The audio was low, but then Darius heard something he'd never forget. "If you leak this, Maya, you'll regret it. This goes above you and above Darius." The camera cut to black. His chest tightened. Maya hadn't spoken to him in months. She'd left the company suddenly after Atlanta, said it was burnout. Now, Darius wasn't so sure. He stared at the screen. Someone had covered up corruption under his own roof. Someone powerful. Someone watching. And Maya? She might be the key to everything. He grabbed his phone, but it didn't ring. The line was disconnected. She vanished after the audit. The files were wiped. Now Darius is headed to Atlanta. But what he finds hidden in that hotel could destroy everything, including him. Why did Maya disappear after the Atlanta audit? And what secret was she silenced to protect?